This comment asks kind of an interesting philosophical question about the spell Glibness and how it interacts with other spells. Glibness states that any magic that determines whether or not you're telling the truth always indicates that you are telling the truth when under the effects of the spell. The text of the spell Glibness states that any magic which determines if you're telling the truth always indicates that you are truthful while you are under the spell's effects. So it essentially allows you to bypass magical lie detectors, such as Zone of Truth. The question asks, how far exactly does that go, and how would you rule that interacting with other spells? And the commenter includes an example about using scrying to verify a factual assertion that you've made. So if I've said, like, the king is on a boat, and someone casts scrying to determine the king's location and finds the king not to be on a boat, does glibness interact there somehow? In my opinion, no, because in that case, scrying the spell isn't making a factual determination. It is simply showing you a state of the world, and the people observing that information are the ones making the factual determination. Zone of Truth is like the specific example that we want to look at here, because Zone of Truth tells the caster if what a creature is saying is true. So Zone of Truth itself is making the factual assertion. In cases where you're using spells like scrying or any other divination or whatever else to gather facts, the spell is providing the facts. The creatures themselves are making the factual determination, not the spell. Glibness is intended to work on Zone of Truth and similar magical effects, but nothing beyond that. For example, like, there are some celestials that have a magical ability to always determine if a creature is being truthful, and I think glibness would work on those effects because it is a magical effect. I hope that helped. If you have any questions or think I'm just dead wrong, let me know in the comments, and I'm always happy to help with any other rules questions.